Hello and welcome to the PCOS Kitchen. I'm your host, Amber Fisher, and I'm very excited to bring you this new YouTube show where I'm going to be trying out some different recipes as well as showing you some of my go-to favorites that help me to create more PCOS-friendly meals. But I'm also going to be showing you some of the stuff that I really just love that maybe isn't technically PCOS-friendly and how I modify it or how I add it to other things to make it more PCOS-friendly and to work better for my body. So a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am. My name is Amber Fisher. I am a certified nutrition specialist, a licensed dietitian nutritionist. I have a master's degree in integrative and functional nutrition, and I have been in private practice as a PCOS nutrition-focused professional since 2015, so for about 8 years. So what we're going to be doing today is something that has been advertised to me on TikTok against my will many times, which is the Greek yogurt frozen berries snack bark thing. And here's the deal, guys. I am not going to lie to you if this is gross. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it some different ways. I'm going to tell you some of the nutritional properties of this and like how it might help your PCOS or how it might harm your PCOS depending on kind of how you use it. And I'm going to try it with like different ingredients to see if I can modify it in different ways to kind of make it more delicious. So let's get started. So the first thing that we have to do for this is supposed to be a really simple recipe. Basically, you just spread Greek yogurt out on a sheet pan and then you add frozen berries to it and you put it back in the freezer. Once it's frozen, you kind of break it up into like almost like white chocolate bark, but it's Greek yogurt. And it's supposed to kind of taste like ice cream. It's like a healthy treat. And I was excited about this because I have actually been wanting to incorporate more sources of dairy into my diet since dairy is such a good high protein food. And the reason that I don't eat more dairy is because there's some food allergies in my family, and I also am coming from a place where I have worked a lot on my gut health over the last several years, and I'm only just now starting to really tolerate dairy well, which is very exciting, but I'm always a little bit nervous to try it just because I went so many years with having a lot of issues with it. Before I went back to school to get my master's degree for nutrition, I was like really deep into the paleo community. But the problem with any of these sort of rigid diet structures is that they're very much about restriction, about what you can't have. And so I was coming from a place of like, I felt like I was a real expert. I'm like, I know everything there is to know about nutrition. This is the one true way to eat. And if you listened to my podcast before, I've kind of like talked through how my opinions have changed over the years, because the longer that I've worked with people and after I got my master's degree, I sort of realized that all foods really can fit, even in a PCOS friendly diet. It's just about figuring out how to make them work and figuring out your unique tolerance of foods. It is true that dairy is a very common food sensitivity, and in PCOS, we tend to more likely have food sensitivities than the population at large because we tend to have more gut health issues. But I've been seeing this advertised to me a lot. Everybody seems to like it. My concerns with it are like, is it actually going to taste good? Because plain Greek yogurt is, it's plain Greek yogurt. And so I know a lot of my clients are coming from a place where like they have a pretty big sweet tooth, and I don't know if just like plain yogurt with berries is really gonna like satisfy that craving. But I do think it could be a really good like snack or like adjunct to your diet that would kind of satisfy that sweet craving as you're trying to transition out of eating more added sugar and you're trying to like build more healthy habits. You don't want to have something like sweet after every meal. That's not great for your blood sugar, right? So maybe something like this could be a good way to get more whole foods. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just like spreading this out on a sheet pan. It's pretty simple. I'm not going to walk you through like all the instructions of it because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Let me try this. Yep, that's Greek yogurt. I already made a batch where I did it the way that they recommend to do it on, TikTok. So we're gonna do the frozen berries, but I think I'm also gonna add some chocolate chips. I think I might on one side add a little bit of like stevia and see if once that's frozen up and it comes out, if that tastes like a little bit more dessert-esque, right? So let me get some of that stuff and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have some of these dark chocolate chips. I'm just gonna like sprinkle these on one side. Not too many because I'm not trying to make this like a dessert, but I want to give it a little bit of sweetness. And I'm going to add some of these frozen. This is a triple blend of mixed berries. This has raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. If you tolerate dairy, right, if you don't have a food sensitivity to dairy, then dairy is a great source of probiotics and prebiotics, especially something like Greek yogurt, which is fermented. And so what that does is it adds beneficial bacteria to our gut, but it also is going to feed those beneficial bacteria. In fact, a lot of prebiotic supplements are actually made from dairy products. They're like broken down from dairy products and corn too. And, I found that kind of stuff really interesting when I was going through my master's program because, like I said, I was coming into it from this paleo world where I was like, thinking that certain foods were off limits or that they were not great for human health. And suddenly I'm taking these advanced biochemistry classes where we're really looking and digging deep into the minutia of different nutrients. And the thing that I found was that nearly every food is going to offer some health benefits to the right person. And also nearly every food does have things about it that might not be helpful for certain people or that certain people may not tolerate. So nutrition really is such an individualized thing. And, that's why getting nutrition information online can be a little bit difficult because you really just don't know, is this going to work for me? Even in the PCOS community, I mean, there are some kind of standard rules that we all probably would benefit from, but like each of us is going to have a unique experience of that, right? So I found it really interesting that a lot of prebiotics and probiotics were kind of started by being made from dairy and corn, when dairy and corn are some of the foods that we tend to villainize or remove from diets when we're trying to, heal food sensitivities or we're trying to heal gut health. But one of the major benefits of dairy for PCOS is that it's a really good source of protein. It's a very high protein food without you having to actually eat like a lot of straight meat. And so one of the big complaints I get from a lot of my clients with PCOS is, I want to eat high protein, but like, my God, Amber, I can't be eating all this meat. And it is difficult to get the amount of protein in that would be helpful for PCOS without also consuming additional sources of protein that are more plant-based or are not directly meat. So things like dairy products, things like soy, edamame, that kind of stuff, things like beans. So all that kind of stuff is going to have additional protein that'll help you to meet your goals. And if you want to know more about that in more depth, I just want to do a quick shout out for the fact that I have a couple of self-paced courses with meal plans that can really help you dive deep into these topics and learn more about PCOS and how exactly you should be eating for it. You can find all the links to all that stuff in the description box, and I'd love to have you join us. But now that I've added all these berries and all these chocolate chips, I'm going to wash my hands really quick, and then I think on one side we're going to add stevia, and I may sprinkle some sources of fiber in here too, just to make it a little bit more balanced. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that somewhere in my pantry there are flax seeds and chia seeds, but for the life of me I cannot find them. I probably should have grabbed them before I started filming, but whatever. We're just going to go with it. I'm going to add some psyllium husk powder. I tend to use this, this is just plain psyllium husk powder. I use it a lot for gluten-free baking. Like I said, there's some food allergies in my house, so we do a lot of gluten-free baking here. And psyllium husk can be combined with water to make this like really coagulated gel substance that helps gluten-free flours bind together. It's also a really good source of fiber and is something that can help bridge fiber gaps. I prefer my clients to get most of their fiber from whole food sources, But, you know, psyllium husk is a whole food in a way. I think it's best when it's added to other things rather than just like drunk as like a shot or something like that. But anyway, this is a little bit of some stevia sweetener, and I'm just going to sprinkle this over everything on this side so we can kind of see if that makes it more satisfying. You could do like a little bit of maybe honey on top of this if you wanted this to be like a true dessert, but just keep in mind that obviously honey is going to spike blood sugars, and in PCOS, we want to keep our blood sugars really stable. Probably next time I would actually mix this into the yogurt before I put it down, but here we are. So let's put this in the freezer, and then I will come back when it's ready and show you guys, and we'll try it. Okay, so this is one that I made earlier. This is like the traditional recipe, and it's just Greek yogurt and berries. So I wanted to give that a try before I modified it, just to see like what it's like on its own. Is it really as good as they claim? So I'm gonna try it and give you guys a rating. I actually don't know. You're supposed to like lift it up and break it apart. Hopefully it's been, oh yeah, it breaks up pretty good. It's a little bit soft still on the inside. So I'm just gonna eat one of the outside pieces, and let's try it. Well, that was a fail. Probably shouldn't have taken a bite with like a giant raspberry on it. Okay. It just tastes like Greek yogurt with some berries in it. So I think the quality of the berries probably matters a lot. Usually organic berries are like more tasty. These ones aren't the most flavor packed that I've had in the past. What I do like about it is like I feel like it would really satisfy a craving for like a popsicle or ice cream or something like that. I even think this would be a good breakfast if you like cold stuff in the morning. So I recommend. Would it satisfy a sweet craving if I really wanted like dessert? Honestly, for me, probably not. So, but let's try the one where I added a little bit of stevia and we'll see. Let's test this out. It's not totally done in the middle, but that's okay. We're gonna try the outside and see. Okay, so this is the stevia side. That's a lot better. Amazing what sweetness can do. Yeah, that's a lot better. That's like very much like a little treat. Okay, let's try the psyllium husk and chocolate chip side. Now this side I did not put stevia on, I don't think. It's giving like frozen yogurt. You know when you go get frozen yogurt and you're like, okay, let me put chocolate chips on this and stuff, and you're always kind of like, does chocolate really go with Greek yogurt? Or is that just me? I just feel like the tastes don't really go. It's okay. I think it'd be better with white chocolate chips. Definitely, I like the stevia side better. I think monk fruit would be really good if you could get some like pure monk fruit. The psyllium husk is a little bit too... I don't love it on top. I think I would mix it in next time. Yeah, I like it. I'm glad I tried it. I think in the future when I make it, what I'll probably do is make it like this with berries. I may chop up fresh berries instead of frozen berries so I can have smaller pieces. And I might even mix them in. And then definitely I will be adding some sweetener, like stevia sweetener, and I might mix that in as well instead of just sprinkling it on top. But honestly, even just like that little bit of sweetness really does help bring out the flavors. So I recommend it, and I hope you try it. Let me know if you like it. And then if you have any suggestions for recipes that you've seen that you would like me to try and kind of give you some information about how it's helpful for PCOS or not helpful, advice on how to modify it, all that kind of stuff, please feel free to drop it in the comments. If you like this show, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.